how much passion and how much love.
Yeah, I don't need to be the best.
Right.
I just need to be better.
I think those experiences are important, right?
Yeah.
Seeing people of color, people that you can resonate with,
Yeah.
having those experiences in the restaurant.
It's the passion for taking care of people.
What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Sipping with Sakari. A huge shout out to our sponsors, WineTex. We got this crazy deal. I believe this was like $15, got shipped right to my door. So huge shout out to WineTex. But we are here with Chef Jeffrey, also known as what?
King Chicken Wing.
King Chicken Wing, in the building. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, bro. I really appreciate it.
Bro, I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about it. Jeffrey, we want to know, and I'm sure the viewers want to know, like, who is Jeffrey, right? Who is Chef Jeffrey? Can you give us like a origin story of
like a little background?
Yeah, give me like a comic book number one, like let's get to know
issue one
of Jeffrey.
Issue one, Jeffrey's first service type shit. My first service was when I was 9 years old. I made brunch for like 17 family members.
Hold on.
I was
9 years old?
Yeah. 9 years old. It was like, I had like a bunch of cousins staying over in my crib, and I just felt the need to just kind of like do something. And so everybody got 2 pancakes, 3 pieces of bacon, and 2 eggs.
Yeah.
Nobody got anything different. But I mean, we all meat eaters, you know?
And you're 9.
I'm 9. I was doing my own dishes. I was having my little brother run the food.
Yeah.
And the only thing that really slowed me down is I didn't have 17 plates in my house. So I had to wait for motherfuckers to finish their plates, and then they got food as it was ready.
Did they say it was good? Like, you're 9 years old. Like, were they giving you?
I mean, it was like Aunt Jemima's box mix. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I'm not making anything that like is crazy. I'm not like inventing
But you're
anything.
9.
But I'm just working the service.
Okay.
Yeah, and that for me was like, that was revolutionary. I felt like I could really do something. I ran it efficiently. As soon as I was done,
this is crazy.
I broke it down and cleaned the kitchen in like 20 minutes. And then I just kind of like played video games for the rest of the day.
So cooking obviously is just like been instilled in you your whole life.
I think it's more like I've always wanted to take care of people.
Okay.
And I think food is the easiest way to do that.
100%.
You know, it's taxing on ourselves, and emotionally it kind of takes away from us, but it means a lot to know that somebody is having a really good meal.
100%.
Whether it be something that's like good for the soul, the mind, or even like a healthy meal that's good for your body.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
I remember my first service or my first meal was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
My grandparents were throwing a Caribbean party, a whole bunch of people over. And I remember I was hungry. I was like, Ma, can I get a sandwich? She's like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go make it. Yeah. And so I remember climbing over on the counter. I must have been like around your age or like younger. And I remember I just made a peanut butter jelly sandwich. And I was so happy. And then I went to my mom and I told her. And she just was like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
But I had I just felt so empowered.
Yeah, like I could do this for myself.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I made myself not hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
It was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So, okay, so nine years old, you're cooking.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, you know, obviously you're an amazing chef doing pop-ups all over New York City.
Yeah.
Right? Having amazing clients in the Hamptons and all over, cooking for lots of cool people. Tell us a little bit fast forward, right? Like, did you know you were going to be a chef?
Nah, man. I went to school originally for theater. I wanted to be a playwright. I wanted to become a screenwriter for television.
Okay.
I've always felt like TV has this like amazing, like all good television has good stories that it tells you.
Right.
They all have this sort of like, this is actual life.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be a part of that system because someone told me as a kid, like, make sure you find something that you like to do that 10 years down the line, you're not going to be sick of it.
100%.
And in trying to do these things and trying to like make sure I like get a writing project out or whatever the case was, I sort of like fell on my ass and I needed a job. And my older brother at the time was cooking. And so he got me a job as a dishwasher.
Okay.
Pork Slope, it was a Dale Holiday restaurant.
Okay.
And from there, just kind of like, I didn't want to be a dishwasher anymore. And one of the cooks quit. And I was like, yeah, I could do that.
I can do it.
That's just how it started. And I think like, I didn't really take it seriously until I was about like 5 or 6 years in.
Right.
Like I was just working to get some bills paid.
Right.
And then once you start to be like, oh, like I know I'm going to be able to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start to be like, oh, let me start understanding the craft in and of itself. Then that discipline starts to kick in. That's really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you've been doing it for so long.
12 years now. 12 years. And it's like, it makes me feel, I still don't even really think I'm good at it. Right? I still think like obviously we all have a lot to learn, right? Like even within ourselves and how to become the chefs that we want to become. But it's crazy to think that like at one point I posted on my Instagram some like grilled chicken over a salad and was like, yo, I'm really him. And it's like,
yo, I'm really him.
I'm really him. And it's like, you wasn't. And I mean, not to say you wasn't, and neither, you're not him now either, but you're on the path. And nobody can make my food better than me is one of the things I learned this year. And I'm just trying to keep honing that and like, hey man, your food's good. I think mine's better. Like that cockiness kind of has to exist within.
It's less cockiness. It's more about confidence.
Yeah, that's the one.
You know what I mean? And like having that confidence, because you can't second guess yourself. It's like you have to just kind of be able to just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where did that come from for you?
Kobe.
Man, I got Kobe town on my chest, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, I never liked the Lakers. I'm a New York kid through and through. Right, the Knicks is my team, but yo, man, that
mentality,
that like, yo,
every day
I don't need to be the best.
Right.
I just need to be better. And
every day.
That was, yeah, dude. Kobe.
Man.
Kobe.
We love Kobe, man.
We love Kobe. Even if you hate Kobe, you love Kobe.
We'll take a moment of silence for my boy Kobe. So, like, is Knicks your favorite team?
Yeah, the Knicks are my team. And then I think my secondary team is like the Spurs.
Okay.
But that's because Tim Duncan is my favorite player. Like, I like Kobe. Kobe's great. Kobe's amazing. We love Kobe. But Tim Duncan is my favorite player.
Yeah,
no
Mr.
question.
Fundamental, man.
Yeah, Mr. Fundamental.
Growing up, my grandfather, that was his favorite team. So, like, Spurs, and they were winning all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was crazy, dude. So, you start to build this confidence. You start off as a dishwasher. Start off 9 years old, then move to dishwasher.
Yeah.
How did you? And then you just like, yo, you know what? I could do this. I can cook.
Yeah.
Started doing it. When did you know you like had something? When did you know you really got good at it? COVID, okay.
Yeah, COVID. Everything shut down, and I started to kind of feel like, oh, I am not a person without cooking. Like I had devoted so much of my time, I sacrificed so much time away from my family, and like I lost relationships because of food.
Yeah.
And it was during COVID that I was like able to just kind of like sit with my thoughts, actually make a livable wage for the first time, right?
Right.
I was making more money then than I ever was. I mean, not now, but and then I was like, oh, yo, like this, like what's going to happen after this, right? We have to like start understanding that I don't want to make white-centric food all the time. I don't always want to do French cuisine or like Japanese cuisine. I don't always want to do that. Like I want to make food that I could serve to my grandmother.
100%.
And
So speaking of that, like where is your family from?
my family's from the Dominican Republic.
DR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I spent some time in the Heights. I know a little.
It's beautiful, bro.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's great, man. Listen, oh, yeah, going through that. It's. I think Dominicans have. There's a sort of like incomplete cuisine that exists in the Caribbean, right? I don't mean to offend anybody or nothing, but I do believe that like Dominicans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, like we all sort of eat all the same foods.
Yeah.
And I think we should look at these places as like a spectrum of an individual cuisine of Caribbean, right? Dominicans don't really have spice in their food. You know, Haitians do, Jamaicans do.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? We have a ton of sweets, and even like from island to island, things vary a ton. But I think like it should be all just like one thing. Like where it all just comes from like Western Africa and like different parts of the world because of colonization. But I think we can get to a point where everyone in the Caribbean is a little bit more unified, and it could be like a singular thing. But
unison.
Yeah.
What was like? I guess like what was Abuelita making in the crib?
Oh, Abuela was making some pollo guisado. She was making sancocho.
I heard it's sancocho. I know sancocho.
Yeah, sancocho. It's
because we make in the Caribbean for Jamaica, we make something similar. We do like a fish head, like squash, like soup situation.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of, I remember I gave it to someone that was Dominican. They were like, "Oh, this reminds me of sancocho." I was like, "What's that?"
It's a stew with a lot of meat. There'll be some fish, which I think is some people do fish in there. If you live closer to the water,
okay,
it makes sense. But
was that like your favorite like thing that your grandma made, sancocho?
Now pollo guisado.
What's that?
Pollo guisado is a stewed chicken.
Okay,
right. It's you season it with a little bit of sugar and you sear the chicken so it caramelizes.
Oh, okay.
And then that way, as you add your liquid, like vegetables and your liquids, and it reduces the sugar that's on that chicken, sort of caramelizes, and you get this crust that exists even though it's in a stew. So it's like tons of texture.
That sounds good.
That
sounds good.
Yeah. And my grandmother used to like, she would like throw a little piece of like sugar cane in the stew. So it's like it's not sweet, but it like really brings out all those other flavors in there.
Bro. My mom grew up on the farms in North Carolina, and she used to eat sugarcane.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what it was until she told me about it, and then I started using it. I used like sugarcane water in my granita.
Yeah.
Granita. Fire.
I
love it.
Fire.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sugarcane is fire. So Abuelita's making some delicious food. DR. You don't want to do French cuisine like everybody else. So are you cooking like Dominican food at these pop-ups that you do?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I'm honing in on, there's sofrito.
Yeah,
right?
I love sofrito.
It's our seasoning base for a lot of things. My grandmother has 4 of them.
4?
Green, yellow, red, and black, but I don't know the black one. So I'm working on all these things.
Okay. And it's just different peppers? Like what?
It's different peppers, it's different techniques, it's different spices, it's different methods.
So for everyone watching right now, everyone listening right now, give us like a quick, easy recipe for a sofrito.
I'll give you the green one. I think it's like it's the one I don't change it. It's my grandmother's recipe. I don't ever change it.
Don't ever mess with grandma. Don't ever mess with grandma.
I've changed a couple. I've changed her red one, changed her yellow one, but I keep the green one real close to home. It has a lot of love in it. Charred green peppers, charred green bell peppers, an ungodly amount of herbs like cilantro, a little bit of mint, parsley, oregano, confit garlic, caramelized onions. You're
giving the sauce away. This is good.
There's lime zest, and there's a ton of lime juice to finish.
Yeah, because you don't want to.
Yeah. I understand. It'll go brown otherwise.
Right.
You make it so it's like
you want to finish with the acid.
It should be like a thick paste, and then she would finish it with like like before she served it, she'd finish it with like olive oil.
Okay. And now is that the base of that's going to be
The
your
base-
sofrito? That's going to be base for stews. I use that for everything.
Yeah, you use it to cook at the base of stews and things. Use it as marinades. You use it for.
Can you use it as a condiment or no?
I don't think you can use the green one as a condiment. I
Okay.
think if you maybe put chilies in it, you could probably do like a hot sauce.
And now is the garlic, the confit garlic, is cooked like you're confit in
Yeah, it's
oil.
already soft.
Right,
Yeah, it's
right.
already soft.
Caramelized onion, you said?
Caramelized onions.
Oh, that flavor. And then you're charring the greens, the green
And
pepper.
then the green peppers, yeah.
It's charred, like
Charred.
open flame, like
Oh,
peel it. or-
ideally, nah. You don't really have to peel it. You char it so dark that it'll be like when you go to blend it, it's
Yeah.
all just like
It's
smooth.
gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's really
Grandma
good.
knows what's grandma's name?
Patria.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
knows what she's doing.
Patria Cava. Love
Now,
her.
was she a huge inspiration for you growing up?
I think of understanding what good food was, yeah, and that basis, right?
Okay.
Like food should be love. Food
Okay.
should be something that I woke up with food. I never went hungry in my grandmother's house. No matter, she might not have eaten, but I never knew what hunger was, and
Blessing.
that was again, like, it's the easiest form of like making sure somebody's okay, like making sure they got a plate of food.
100%. It's
Yeah.
like that one thing that brings everyone together is food.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It brings grandma, it brings mom, it brings everyone. It's just that unison, harmonious thing, just a plate of food.
yeah.
It's
a beautiful
man.
thing, dude.
It is a beautiful
So-
thing, man, and I could hear the love that you have in what you're doing, and it resonates all the way back to when you were 9, and now fast forward to your career, you're a chef,
Yeah,
and so now you're cooking in the Hamptons, you're cooking elevated meals, you're doing these fine dining pop-ups.
yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about like your professional career, I guess. Like talk about like the inspiration for these pop-ups and stuff like that.
All right, yeah. So I spent a little time in Australia.
Okay.
All right. I worked for Momofuku for about 2 years. I worked
Okay.
at Momofuku Nishi, and that was sort of like the first place that I ever worked where I was like, all right, this is where I'm going to like really start taking this seriously,
Okay.
right? Everybody here is a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first place that I walked in, and I was immediately the weakest link.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was the weakest link for a long time there. And I started to really understand that this is not a place where people are gonna like push you down.
Mhm.
This was the first place that people are gonna be like, yo man, like your knife cuts are pretty good. You should hold on to that. Keep that up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was really positive energy. But there
And
was all
uplift you.
yeah.
Okay.
And that felt amazing. I worked there for 2 years. In my time that like right after I left, or like as I was leaving, I went to go do a stage in Australia
Okay.
for
Now, for everyone listening and watching at home, what is a stage?
a stage is you're essentially working for free, right? In the shortest terms. But the idea is that the idea of a stage is that you're learning, you're understanding the culture of a place where you're working, so that way, whether or not you want to work there, you
Mhm.
can you understand that culture walking into it.
Got it.
Yeah, it's like an internship of
Basically.
sorts, but it's much smaller.
Got it.
Much less.
So you're in Australia, you're staging.
I'm staging at Momofuku Sailboat.
Okay.
Right? No, it's no longer open.
That's in Australia.
Yeah, Sydney.
Okay.
Sydney,
Sydney, Australia. Okay.
Sydney, Australia.
How was that?
It was crazy. I mean, I wasn't getting paid, and I didn't really have a ton of money, and I was living in like a hostel, like half a mile away.
Yeah, I get it.
And so I would really I was there. I was literally only there for work. I didn't do anything else.
Do you feel like that experience, because a lot of people talk about going to college, right? And like going to culinary school and obviously getting in debt, right? Like there's lots of debt when it comes to this type of thing. Do you feel like that experience overseas changed you, helped you, built you? Or was it just like a small memory? Like, was it like a catalyst for you? Like, was it like a changing moment?
It was the thing that made me understand that Caribbean food was just as good as anybody else's food.
Mm.
When I was there, the chef was Paul Carmichael
Okay.
from Barbados.
Okay.
And he was doing a 14-course Caribbean menu.
Wow.
There was king crab and mojo.
Wow.
There was a curry fried rice. It was the thing that made me understand that, like, there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be talking about this as being one of the best restaurants in the world. In my opinion, it was beautiful, and not I didn't put anything on the menu, but in the time that I was there, they ended up earning the accolade of second best restaurant in Australia.
Wow.
And best restaurant in Sydney. It was amazing. It was life-changing. I think I owe so much of my inspiration towards how I cook food to him. You know, I remember the last day I was there, I sat down for dinner and I had the whole experience and I cried. As it was like it made me really feel like it made me feel at home while I was away.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was one of the best things in the world. And then I came back and I jumped into working at Oxalis.
Okay.
To be a part of that opening team. And in that first year, we earned the star. And the idea of, oh yeah, we could just like, people who like work at restaurants to like EMP or per se because they want to be like, oh, I have a 3-star place on my resume. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's cool. Good for you, bro. But I wasn't picking herbs at Oxalis. You know, I was. It was a small team. It was everybody was like fighting for it.
Yeah.
And
hands on.
Like I was working meat roast there. I was working the meat station, and ain't nobody else touch proteins.
Right.
You know, like I was the one handling it from start to finish. And on my day off, I had to make sure that the sous chef that was going to be holding on to that station was going to be so set up that he was good for service. Right. Right. He was supposed to be able to just do whatever the fuck sous chefs do.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, man. And I felt like anytime anybody is ever like, oh yeah, like I worked at a 3-star place, it's like, yeah, but were you there when they earned that 3rd star?
I get it.
You know, it's
a different experience.
It's different.
I remember being at 11 Madison Park where they were the #1 restaurant in the world, and then going through that, right? But I was picking herbs. I was like in the back, like doing all these things, but it was a pivotal time where it was so intense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was so much pressure. But then fast forward, I go overseas, and then I remember going to small restaurants where they only had a team of like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's where I really learned a lot of stuff, right? Because now everybody's doing meats, fish, because it's rotating. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not just picking herbs, or you're not just doing all these things. So I think to anyone that's listening that is a inspiring foodie, chef, cook, whatever, I think the value that we can provide is really trying to figure out opportunities for you to get yourself in challenging situations to learn hands-on. Absolutely. With that experience.
Yeah. What do they say? Like, easy shores make for terrible sailors. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Yeah, it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm a chef. I've worked at these like nice places. It's like, yeah, but can you like grind it out?
Can you cook?
Yeah.
Can you cook?
Like, or is it just like cooking in a bag? And not to say that that's not.
It's just different.
That's not a thing either. Like, that's different. Still okay. But it's like, yo, man, like, why are you making it in the bag? Yeah. Right? It's the understanding of why are you doing these things? What is making you make these steps? It's not just like, oh, yeah, this is how we do it because this is how we did it.
Right. And it doesn't make anything better or worse, right? Like, because like what I learned after leaving, it was the #1 restaurant in the world. I remember working at a restaurant that had no Michelin stars. And I remember looking at the sous chef at the time, and he had stains all over his apron. He had stains all over his shoes. And then that was such a big no-no in EMP, right? You go into EMP, you're clean cut, da-da-da-da-da. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad chef or a bad cook. Yeah. And so I kind of judged him based off of his looks. And he ended up being one of the most influential people in my career, period. And a badass chef, badass cook, all that type of stuff. And the reason why his clothes and apron was dirty because he was putting in work.
Yeah.
He was working.
Shit is hard, bro.
You know what I mean?
Shit is hard.
Speaking about how hard it is, have you seen The Bear?
Yeah.
You watched The Bear. What's your interpretation of The Bear? Is it real to you? Does it bring back flashbacks? Does it do the food industry justice? Do you like it? What's your take?
I think there's some scenes, right, that I think that like really stand out. Like the I think it's like the first season, episode 2, where he's like at the pass, and it's supposed to be EMP, right?
Right. Per se, EMP vibes.
Yeah, he's like at the pass, and he's telling this cook like, "Yo, this sauce is broken, fix it," right? And Joel McHale's character comes in, and he starts telling him like, "Is this who you hired? Like,
right?
You should kill yourself." And it's just like, that is a terrible feeling. I remember stopping the show and like walking away from it for like a week and really contemplating. I was like, why is this making me feel so uneasy? And it's like, yo, man, like that show is very real at times. Like it's struggling. It's hard to watch sometimes, but there are moments that are just honest. And it's very true to like the industry. I think there's also times when it's not, but it's also just a TV show. You have to like do those things.
So like, I think it shows like how much passion and how much love needs to be put into it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, do you feel like, is that one of your motivators? Like the passion that you have for food that keeps you going?
Nah, man. It's the passion for taking care of people more than anything. It doesn't. I think food is an amazing thing. It's an amazing vehicle for those things, but this is crazy to put it this way, but food to me is the same way that like you ever seen Full Metal Jacket?
Okay.
What's that speech they say? It's just like, yo, this is my gun. My gun is nothing without me. A vegetable is just a vegetable, you know, like as beautiful as it is, and you can easily just take, if it's a good product, you can easily just throw it in the oven and eat it like that, you know?
Right.
And the idea of a chef is to like sort of take that and make it into a mosaic of sorts. You really transform it. You really become an artist about it.
100%. And
you try to manipulate those flavors so that it can create something in someone where it's like, yo, man, I remember this.
Wow.
This was my childhood. This was
nostalgia.
This is what it is. And if you can do that, if you can really do that for yourself, then I think you can do that for any group of people, right? I think some chefs kind of hold themselves at too high of esteem. Like, I'm a chef, you should respect me. But it's sort of like, man, everybody cooks, bro. Like
everybody, especially
cooks.
Nowadays.
Yeah, everybody cooks, bro. Like, the celebrity chef situation is not as cool. It's sort of like a dying mentality where now people aren't going to a restaurant for the chef. They're going for the idea of this restaurant.
The experience.
The experience, yeah. It's like, oh, I want to eat French food, and I want it to be of this caliber. Cool, so I'm going to go here. I want to eat Japanese food, and I want it to be, like, really authentic. So I'm going to go to an omakase spot.
Wow, you're right.
You know?
I never thought about it like this.
You're not really going... I mean, I don't know Kwame, but I think that's the same ideas, right? It's like, it's Tatiana by Kwame, right? It's...
the experience.
You got to put your name on there in order for people to be like, oh, that's why I'm going. But Tatiana... I'm trying to go. I haven't gone.
Trying to go.
Kwame, please. We're all just kids from the Bronx, bro. We're just trying to make it, bro.
You're just kids from the Bronx, trying to get a reservation.
Please.
We'll hit up Kwame. We'll try to get some reservation. I haven't been yet.
I heard it's really good.
I heard it's really good too. It's like number one restaurant right now in New York City.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you're from the Bronx, right?
From the Bronx.
He's from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Well, Kwame.
Yeah, please.
We're gonna clip this up.
Please. Please. He's also Kwame is also like another inspiration, man. Like
100%.
only two chefs of color, I guess three chefs. Only three chefs of color have won the James Beard in New York for Best New Chef.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kwame, Dave Chang, and
Marcus Samuelson.
It's only three people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we think about think about that as the industry whole,
Get it?
right? Like
100%.
as food is, it hasn't always been for us, right? It's always been like you get to be really good at food because you can throw shit away,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can practice things. But in our communities, you don't throw food away, right? So
100%.
this is what the meal is. This is how I made it. This is what it tastes like this time. Now we move on. We don't really think about it anymore. And now with the rise of so many great chefs coming up, yourself, I forget everybody's name all the time. I'm really bad at names.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Charlie Chuck Good
Yeah.
on Instagram. First black chef to get a Michelin star in New York
in
City.
America.
In New York City, yeah, New York City. Marie Russell was the first star.
Okay, yeah, in
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing, dude.
100%.
It's like, how do you get and his dinner is like $300 a head, not including wine.
Right.
Right? And it's like, again, another place I want to go to. It's like, I don't got it.
I've been. It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Clover Hill, man. Clover Hill.
Clover
Hill. I want to go.
You want to go? I'll hit up Charlie.
It's everything's going to be on the bucket list.
On the bucket list.
Yeah.
But I think those experiences are important, right?
Yeah.
Seeing people of color, people that you can resonate with, having those experiences in the restaurant, and getting the consumer or the guest experience versus the chef cooking behind the experience, right?
Yeah.
How important, like, do you take any inspiration from when you're having these, like, you go into these dinners? Like, does that inspire you, I guess, to see what other chefs are doing when you go eat their food?
Man. Yeah, absolutely. I think we all grab inspiration from everywhere, but it's also, you have to grab inspiration from, you tend to forget things from your upbringing, right?
Right.
Like there's key moments, I think, in everyone's mind.
Right.
You start to really understand, like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
The Cosmic Brownie at Tatiana.
Right.
The bodega special.
Yeah, the bodega special. Yeah.
The powder donut ice cream. It's like those things, like, you see those things on the menu and you're just like, yo, I remember that costs $1.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
And that's sort of like a lot of things that you want to invoke, right?
100%.
Like, oh, yo, like you did that. Let me remember this other thing. Let me try to do it. I wanted to do a sour power straw dessert.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like you're working on these things so that people in your community will go to your restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's hard to do those things when your community is like, I'm not paying for that.
Right. They don't see the value in it.
But they will.
They will.
They will.
And it takes restaurants like Clover Hill, Tatiana, some of Marcus's restaurants and other restaurants are doing great things to be able to build that demand and understand the value
absolutely
that these restaurants bring.
Yeah.
So pop-ups. Is that what you're doing now? Like, how can people support you? Like, what's next for King Chicken Wing?
Right now, I'm doing my next pop-up right now, a confirmed situation. I got some other things in the works, but the next one confirmed is December 19th and 20th.
Okay.
With Resident. I'll have the link for y'all.
Okay.
And tickets are available. Menu should be up, I think, in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
That is going to be like a really special dinner. Like my girl's parents are gonna go, and I haven't really met them yet. So, yeah, a little Christmas.
That's
situation.
beautiful.
Yeah,
okay,
it's gonna be good.
Okay,
good. Yeah.
We'll make sure we'll have the link in the bio, the description, all that type of stuff. We'll clip it in.
Yeah.
Buy your tickets.
Yeah, buy your tickets.
Support.
I'll get the disc. I don't know the discount code. I think it's like Resident Love Chefs. And I'll give you the discount code. I don't know.
Well,
like
hit him up.
off. Yeah,
hit him up on Instagram.
Hit me up. I'll give you the discount code.
We'll have the discount code for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Go experience some elevated food by Chef Jeffrey.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out your day.
Thanks for having me, man.
For coming on. And if you didn't join the broadcast channel on Instagram, this is how Jeffrey got on. This is it. He hit me up. He saw the note, all the exclusive updates. Everything you want to know about everything that's going on is in my broadcast channel. He saw what was going on. He hit me up, and that's how he got on the show. So if you want to be on the show, or if you want to know anything that's going on in my life, join my broadcast channel on Instagram. That's how you can get in contact with me, know everything. Chef Jeffrey, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. It means so much. Time is our most valuable asset. It's the one thing that we do not get back. So thank you so much for being on another episode of Sipping with Sakari.
Thank you.
Love.
Sipping with Sakari.